Good evening and welcome back to the Wednesday, February 21st council meeting. We are reconvening at 9:23. We had a long closed meeting session that I think went very well for us. So we are back in session now. We're on item 4. We have no public hearing tonight. Item 5, we have no public comments and we do not have any public delegations. So that brings us to item 7, the consent agenda. Council, are there any councillors who would like to have one of those two items removed and dealt with separately, or can we pass them as a consent agenda? Deputy Mayor Langmaid?
Thank you, Your Worship. At this point, I'd like to move that Council adopt the recommendation of the following agenda reports by an omnibus motion. 8.1, regular council meeting minutes, February 7th, 2024. And 12.1, letter regarding Strathmore High School annual graduation powwow.
Thank you for the motion. Any discussion?
Yeah, I just have a question for administration, please.
Okay.
With item 12.1, are we just accepting that in for information, or is there like any sort of action tied to that?
Thank you, Worshiping Council. 12.1, if the item stays on the consent agenda, there'll be no action taken.
Okay.
If council so chooses, they could pull it off the consent agenda and then make a motion related to that correspondence.
I see. Okay. All right. That's fine as it is. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments on the motion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? And that motion is carried. This brings us to item 10, bylaws. 10.1, land use bylaw, amending bylaw number 24-02, 318 First Avenue, Strathmore, page 46. Chuck, good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Council and Your Worship. I just have a quick staff introduction before we get started tonight. I'd like to introduce Glenn Ferguson, our senior planner here at the town. Glenn has experience from the City of Greater Sudbury, Municipality of Clarington, Town of Richmond Hill, all in Ontario. Glenn joins us virtually tonight from Garson, Ontario, as he's moving his young family to Alberta soon. Glenn started in October 2023 and has since become a valuable addition to our team. And I just want to say thank you and welcome to Glenn.
Good evening, Glenn, and welcome. I imagine you're speaking to this issue then?
I will be. And thank you, Chuck, for the warm introduction there. And good evening, Your Worship and Council. The item that I'll be speaking to this evening is bylaw 24-02. It is the first reading of this bylaw, and the lands involved are 318 First Avenue in Strathmore. Development Services did receive a land use bylaw application on November the 30th of 2023. This application was initially deemed incomplete. There were several missing items, but it was later then deemed complete on January the 5th of 2024. Specifically, this amendment or redesignation would allow for a secondary suite to be located within the basement of the existing single detached dwelling on the lands. These lands are designated residential in the town's MDP. It is a permitted or a supported residential use in the town's municipal development plan. And the lands are generally east of Wheatland Trail, to the south of Waddy Lane, and to the west of 3rd Street in the town's downtown north. So this location offers an ideal location to contribute positively toward the wider range and supply of affordable housing options that are available in Strathmore. I've included some photos here of the lands to provide some context. The first two on the left here are sort of looking north towards the single detached dwelling and one of the driveways. And the image on the right is of the rear lane, which will provide parking for the secondary suite. On the screen, we do have a site plan sketch that was provided by the applicant. This is a legal existing single detached dwelling, so it is permitted in the R3 district. It was constructed in 1972. And you can see from the way the drawing is labeled that the additional parking space for this unit would be provided in the rear yard and access from a gravel lane, not Waddy Lane, which is further to the north. So the bylaw that is before council would amend the land use bylaw and redesignate the lands from R3 to an R3 direct control district. That would be with the purpose of permitting the secondary suite. And bylaw 24-02 is a site-specific redesignation. It would only apply to these lands at 318 First Avenue. Just a quick summary and recommendation. We have presented the bylaw tonight for first reading by council. It would permit, as I've mentioned, a secondary suite in the basement of the existing dwelling. And the report is recommending that council give first reading to the bylaw tonight, and the council direct administration to schedule a public hearing for the bylaw on March 20th, 2024 at 6 p.m. in the council chambers. And that does conclude my presentation. And I've used the word excited a lot recently, but I wanted to let everyone in the room know that I am excited to have joined the town, and I'm looking forward to doing a lot of really good work here with council and with staff and the team that surround us here. So that does conclude the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Glenn, and welcome to the staff. Welcome to the staff. We hope you'll enjoy your time as you move your family to Alberta. Are there any questions for Glenn? Councillor Peterson?
I have no questions, Your Worship.
Any questions from any of the councillors for Glenn on this? Seeing none, Councillor Peterson?
Your Worship, I would move that council give first reading to bylaw number 24-02, being a bylaw to amend land use bylaw number 14-11, and that council direct administration to schedule a public hearing for bylaw number 24-02 on March 20th, 2024 at 6 p.m. in council chambers.
Thank you for that motion. All in favor? And that motion is carried. We move now to 10.2 Land Use Bylaw, amending bylaw number 24-01, 1016 Westridge Road, which is found on page 62 of the agenda. Good evening and welcome back.
Thank you. Good evening. One moment. Okay. Today, I would like to present an application for land use redesignation of 1016 Westridge Road to facilitate the development of child care service. 1016 Westridge Road is currently designated CHWY, Commercial Highway District. Previous uses of the building include a cannabis store, a bowling alley, and a department store. Currently, child care service are not a listed use in the CHWY land use district. We believe because some industrial type land uses exist in this land use district. Westridge Road is currently mostly made up of commercial highway land use and is adjacent to Strathmore Lakes Estate, White Flower Range, Westlake Bay, and Strathmore Lakes Bay, which are primarily made up of low, high-density residential land uses. Currently, the neighbors of the potential child care services are a restaurant to the east and distributor of products for industrial, agriculture, automotive, and heavy truck sectors to the west. As 1016 Westridge Road is adjacent to a residential community with the R2 low-density residential district and R3 high-density residential district land uses, we think the location is appropriate. The potential child care service will feature a spacious open area. The land lot measure 0.4 hectares, 1 acre, with a portion of it available for the creation of a private playground. Child care service will require 1 parking per staff member under the land use bylaw, and we believe there is enough parking on the site. Providing more child care service in Strathmore may help meet the needs of families in the town. Regarding land use, staff are proposing a district overlay to the commercial highway district to allow for child care service at 1016 Westridge Road as a permitted use. Tonight, we are recommending the first reading of bylaw 2401 and scheduling public hearings for March 20th. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Kate. Are there any questions for Kate concerning this? Then I'll go to Councillor Peterson again.
Sorry, Your Worship, I didn't turn my light off. I would move that council give first reading to bylaw number 24-01, being a bylaw to amend the land use bylaw number 14-11, and that council direct administration to schedule a public hearing for bylaw number 24-01 on March 20th, 2024 at 6:10 PM in council chambers.
Thank you for that motion. All in favor? And that motion is carried. Thank you again, Kate.
Thank you so much.
And thank you, Chuck. And Glenn, welcome again. Thank you. Oh, don't blame him. We move now to item 11, councillor information inquiries. 11.1, questions between councillors and council statements. And hopefully there's nothing coming from Richard Wagner again. Anything from councillors? Then we move now to 11.2, excuse me, boards and committee reports. Not seeing any. We move to 11.3, question and answer period. Are there any questions that councillors might have for administration? Seeing none, we move now to Jonathan.
Sorry,
CAO
could we just
Scoville?
take a quick recess to confer here for 1 minute?
Sure. Okay, well, 5-minute recess? 1 minute? Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. We move now to 11.5.1, notice of motion, cemetery bylaw amendment, Councillor Wiley. Councillor Deputy Mayor Langmaid.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. I would move that we defer 11.5.1, the cemetery bylaw amendments, to the next regular meeting of council on March 6th, 2024.
Thank you for that motion. I'll call the question. All in favor? And that motion is carried. We have dealt with correspondence under the consent agenda, so there's nothing further to do except I will adjourn the meeting at 9:35.